Afternoon everybody, my name is Jacqueline Stevens from Wicked Makeup and I'm so excited today because today we're going to be talking about eyebrows. So this tutorial is for everyday people to get the correct colouring and the correct shape for their natural brow so they feel confident in their colouring and their definition and for their own personal face shape. So today we're not going to be covering fashion eyebrows, I'm not going to be covering stenciled eyebrows. This is purely for the everyday woman who is looking to have the right shape and the right colour for their face. So the first thing you have to do is you have to pick the right colour tone to match your hair, and if you're a particular colour you might want to downplay or upplay. So if you have dark hair you might want to pick a black or a mixture of dark brown and black in a matte or a slightly frosted colour. If you're blonde or ash blonde, you might want to pick from the colour range of matte beige or frosted beige to the light browns in the same kind of colour tone. So if you're also blonde, you might want to play up your brows as well with a darker colour. You could mix a matte brown with a matte grey or a matte black, and you could then mix it to just give you a bit more definition depending on what the look is that you want to achieve. So I find that people have the hardest choice in colours when they're actually blonde to ash blonde. When you don't want a dark brown, it can sometimes be tricky to pick the right beige or the right light brown that matches your hair. So if you have any extra comments on colour matching or something that you're confused with about what tone is best for you, if you're watching this on Facebook, Instagram or YouTube, just pop a comment down in the comment section and I'll be able to help you a little bit more personally with your colour choices. So the other thing that we need to do today is talk about shape. So if you're in my Facebook group, Secrets from a Top Makeup Artist, you're going to be receiving a little bit of extra help in this area, and if you want to join that group so that you can get a little bit extra help, please do so. Jump onto Facebook, search in groups, Secrets from a Top Makeup Artist. So I want to talk about shaping for your face shape, and there is some key points to this because I want to teach you how to do this on your own without stencils, because that's really important, because we all have different face shapes, we all have different noses, and we all have different distances between our eyes. And hey, we're dealing with sisters, not twins. So we need to look at the eyebrow as an individual, and we need to work with our own personal face and contouring shaping. So I'm going to teach you a little rule that we use in makeup artistry, and as professionals would know, we use something called the golden ratio. So what's important is if you have a large wide nose, or if you have a very long nose that's very thin, I want you to use your measurements with the teardrop of your eye. Okay, so but for everybody else who's got a comfortably shaped nose that you feel is the right shape for your facial structure, please just use the side of your nose as I'm about to teach you. So what we do is we go from the side of our nose to our teardrop, and that's where your eyebrow should start. Okay, so we have to look at the dimensions of our own face, and we don't want to make our eyebrows look too far in because it gives us less room between here and can make somebody look like they're not happy, or that room there makes us look like we're a bit cross. So that's what we want to start there, because that's then not eating up that distance in there. And then what we want to do is we want to go from the side of our nose to, if you're looking straight ahead, it's straight through your pupil, and that's where your arch should start. And for an everyday person who just wants to have normal length brows, this will change if you're going to be making your eyeshadow a little bit more elongated for smaller eyes, so you're bringing your definition out on the outside corner of your eye a bit more. But for everyday people who just want to have a good base, good contouring, a nice shaped eyebrow and some eyeliner with a little bit of shading, this is what we're going to do. So you go from the side of your nose to the side of your eye, and where that point marks there is where your length of your eyebrow will be. Okay, now that will only change if you have eyeshadow that you're elongating to create more definition on the outside corner. All right, so then we want to do is, if you have untidy brows, or if you have brows that have hair that's a little bit got its own personality, we want to gently brush our eyebrows so that kind of the hair is kind of traveling in the same direction. If you have a couple of wispies there, don't focus on them too much, just kind of move past them a little bit. So I might show you some colour tones. This is a palette that I'm able to also get personally made up for you if you're having trouble with eyeshadow colours or brow shadow colours, and even blushes. If you would like to reach out and get me to make a palette that personally suits you and your needs, please drop that in the comments for me or send me a message on Messenger, and I'm very happy to look after you and tailor something that's personally suited to you. Because it can get a little bit confusing when you go to a department store or you're having a look online and you can't visualize the color tones, or you have a palette of 12 and only 2 colors are relevant to what you're using. So reach out if you need any help. I'm happy to help you personally. But I just want to show you kind of the color tones that we're using for basic makeup here. This whole palette of 8 is all very, very useful. Now, I don't know whether you can see those very well, but we've kind of got like a flesh color here that's got me more of a warmer tone to it. And this one here is our frosted beige. This is our matte brown, and this is a frosted dark brown. And this one here is a frosted dark grey black. And then we have our eyeshadows, which I'll get into in our next tutorials. And so today for my brows, obviously I'll be using a dark frosted black grey. And I'm going to put it with a little bit of the dark frosted brown as well, just so that it's not all black and it doesn't look too heavy. And even though I have black hair, I like to mix those two up just so my brow is just not too dark and heavy. So I want to just dip it into those 2 colours. Now I'm personally a big fan of putting it on the back of my hand, even when I work on clients, because I am a very visual person. And if you are too, that it's nice to see that colour tone on your skin, and then you can visualise it on a subconscious level, on your own face, on your own skin tone. So what you want to do is, because you've got that little shaping there, now because I'm very right-handed, and you can see better if my arm's not in the way, I'm going to work on that left-hand side for you. And you just want to fill in. Now if you're missing anything, or if you've got a couple of little gaps, or if you need to bring it in towards the nose a bit more because you might have shorter brows. So if you have a brow that starts there, you might want to fill in that little bit of extra space that you don't have. And because on my eye, my arch starts here, we want to softly blend without too much staining. Softly blend. And if you've got any scarring, or if you've got any gaps in your eyebrow hair, just colour your skin in to match the rest of your brow, because all you're really doing when you do makeup is bringing people's attention to how even things look and how naturally shaded in they look. So don't be too concerned if you've got a little bit of eyeshadow on the skin and it's just filling in a gap. It's not causing a big huge blotch. So I like to use a feathering motion, and I do personally like to use shadow powders, a high pigmented shadow powder, because high pigments mean they have less fillers in them and less talcs in them, so you get a really good finish straight up. And you can also use pencils too. A lot of people do like to use eyebrow pencils and eyebrow creams. Personally, I prefer to use shadow powders because pencils have a wax or an oil base to them, and a lot of people, it's totally okay if a lot of people like to use those, but if you find that they're running or they're smudging, you might want to also set them with an eyeshadow colour of the same hue. Okay, so if that's what you're having trouble with, then that's something you can try. So I've got my arch there, and again, if you're having trouble with an eyebrow shape that you personally have and you need some help, please just please just reach out. And I've just filled it in, but I actually am missing, I have a bit of a dip in my eyeshadow, sorry, my eyebrow hair growth. So I actually just go over the top of it and fill that in. And as you can see, from my nose to my outside corner of my eye, I'm just going to use my angle brush in the shape that it is, just to softly feather that away. Okay, for everyday brows, not fashion brows, we want to just taper that and blend that away so that it goes naturally. So when we do eyeshadows, and when you have an external eyeshadow that you've brought out, so when you've got small almond eyes or small eyes and you want to bring more attention, you will go back after your eyeshadow is on and you'll re-measure from your corner of your nose to your new eyeshadow ending on the outside corner of your eye, and then you can readjust where you want your eyebrow to finish. Okay, all right, so